Okay. I'm sharing my screen and you guys can see it now. So I think we have few things remaining in the Apex sheet. Okay. So after going with the Apex email operations, so we have some Salesforce methods, interfaces. Okay. Only 13 are left. So Salesforce interfaces are so there is a database.batchable interface which is useful to schedule batch jobs on Salesforce. Okay. So these batch jobs are useful to execute some operations on account data or any object data to modify. Okay. For suppose if you want to modify all the pin codes or all the employee salaries, okay, you can run a simple batch job by writing some logic. So on your employee salary object, you can do that so that it automatically does, and you're going to schedule this batch job at some point of time, like for 5 a.m. in the morning, where most people are not using the system, so that the system will automatically run that scripts, Apex script to you, and will automatically update all the data. That's batch job. Okay, and use schedule interface for scheduling the Apex batch jobs. Okay, so for writing batch classes, so you have to extend the batchable database.batchable interface, and there are 3 methods inside batch class. One is start method. The start method is useful to acquire data what you want to perform. Okay, for example, if you want to perform data on all the accounts means on all the accounts, then you can simply select ID, name, email, all the account details from account. You're gonna write this query and in the start query, and you can, so that's the so you're going to provide the data set in the start query, and the data set which will be queried and it will be sent to the execute method when this batch job is executing. The execute method, see, database.batchable context BC and list P. List P contains all the data what is queried in the start method, and you're going to perform the logic thing in the execute block, whether you want to modify zip codes or whether you want to modify address information of all the accounts, you can do that. And finally, in the finish method, some people don't write any code or logic inside finish method. Generally, finish method is useful to clean the data at the end of batch job to make up the data at the end. So if you have any requirement, you can use the finish method according to that. So these 3 methods are useful only in batch classes. And after doing the batch class, you can schedule this with schedulable context. Okay, so you can schedule this batch job with this schedulable interface. Okay, and the execute method, the global void execute schedulable context SC, and inside that you can give the Apex batch class name, and you can call that and you can start running it at specific interval of time. Okay, so and I think we have created some library for that, and we created some abstract class for implementing a batch class and schedulable class at the same time, where if you simply pass the timings, it automatically schedule it. So I have the code for that, which in the developer edition which I shared with you. Okay, so we'll talk about this at end of Apex. This comes into finishing Apex examples. And message inbound handler is also a class for sending emails from triggers or from Apex classes. For suppose if you want to send the email on click of a button, okay, on the page, because clicking the button means you have to write a custom button and you have to link a VF page or script, and that VF page might call some Apex script Apex code. So if you're clicking on that button, send email button, if you want to send out an email to the user or to the owner of the record, then you can implement this class, okay, and you can use the simple the messaging class, and you can, so in this message, when you are implementing this, there's you have to simply mention the CC email, a set of emails to which you have to send BCC email like this, and even if you have to put on the subject body, you have to write from your code, you have to build your own body and subject, and at the end you have to click on send email method of this. This will automatically send email to your recipients. The recipients you are going to configure, okay? You're going to configure with the email address field or record owner of that record, on which you are going to click on send email button. That can be case object or contact object or account object. Okay. So, and there is a comparable, I haven't used it till now. So this comparable method is useful to compare other object, okay. Okay. This object will be compared to this object, okay. So if that is, it returns integer value, 0 or 1 might be. I haven't used that. Let's try that thing of open classes. Okay. And these are standard methods by Salesforce. Okay. System is the means you generally use this class a lot. System.asset, system.now, system.today will give the today's time. System.now will give the current time and date also. System.asset is useful for testing in test classes. System.debug is for debugging your code. Okay, so if you put any line, any data inside system.debug, it prints on the debug logs. So debug logs are useful to check how the data is passing between variables and how things are going. So you generally put debug logs before executing the debug log. You generally put system.debug statements inside your code between different methods. So when you are running that code, where all the system.debug lines are there, that will print the data on your debug log. Now you can see how data is flowing. If you feel that there is a data is not flowing properly in that particular method, you can go by seeing the debug log, you can go to that method and you can fix that again. That's useful to track the data and things. And system.reset password, set password, all these things is on user object system. You can set password directly on the, these are all methods by Salesforce. Okay. And asset equals to is also a test method useful for running test classes. The asset is for simply comparing. Asset equals to is for positively comparing. Asset not equals to, there is one more. Yeah, it's here. This is positive testing, this is negative testing. So if you are expecting a value that is 0, then you can say asset not equals to 1. That's 2. That's the negative type of testing you can do with system dot asset not equals to class, not equals to method. Okay. And these are all math functions. You can use this math functions inside your Apex. So you can see the similar math functions even in your formula builds that are completely different. These are all described methods. When you are building the dynamic Apex, so if you don't know whether the object what you are working on, what is dynamic Apex? So dynamic Apex will generally run on any object, on any field. You can get the data from any object. So for suppose we can build a page. Okay, that is, for suppose if I'm selecting account, it shows account page down so that I can insert account data. That type of applications I can build with dynamic Apex. So for that, what I use is I'm using the describing field. If I'm selecting the account object in the previous value, based on the value what you are selecting there, I'm going to get the give me a second, get as object type, and I can get the describe of all the as object fields. I can display all the as object fields, and I can show some input items dynamically so that you guys can enter account data. If you are selecting contact, it shows the contact information there, and you can upgrade that record and you can save it. That type of application you can build with this dynamic Apex. In these cases, you don't know whether that contact object records is creatable or not. If you want to find out whether that's creatable or not, there is a method for that. So as object dot, the object what you are giving dot is creatable. If you do this method, it says, say, if you have permission to create the record in that object, it says yes, true. Then you can run, you can click on insert data into the database. If it is not creatable, then you don't have permission to create the data for this user. So it shows some simple information saying that you cannot create the data. That type of messages you can show based on the settings. So when you are building dynamic apps, right, you don't know whether that object is creatable or accessible by that user or not. If you are using these methods, you can identify that. That is the reason you are going to use it. If you want to get the record type information by name of the object, I can use this get record type information method. So if object is updatable, I can use this. If object is mergeable, deletable, these are all settings on the object. So system administration will be having all permissions, but some users might not have it. For suppose if the dynamic page what you have created is used by some other basic user, if you don't have permissions, it shows some different messages to him, and the same page it shows different message for the system administrator or the person who is having access. And so this is the this line is for showing the record type name dynamically. From the schema, okay, by querying schema of the Salesforce. Okay, and so this second line will show the description of account object in D, and it will print this information, and you can use it. Okay, schema.subject.account will show that will describe the subject account. A subject means it can be anything. It can be a contact, it can be account or anything. Okay. So if you want to get the fields of account, you can use describe fields method. It gives the description of all the fields, and you can use it accordingly in your dynamic Apex. So I have some examples. I will try to load it in my in the edition which I have, and I can name it as dynamic Apex. I think I already have it. This okay. And so there are a lot of methods similarly to get the name, to get the label, to get the type, local name, length, for checking the field result. Or suppose you don't know what is the field length of account number which is acceptable by account name. As you are using dynamic queries, you have to put there is the length or get length of this field. So if you run this get length method on that field, it shows it shows that 20-digit value means my account number will only accept 20-digit value, so that I want to enter 20-digit value. That type of things I can then easily get information from this get methods. Okay. And what is the get default value of the field? get name, get skill, get type, all this stuff. You can get it by running the query on the SObject fields. So these are all things we generally use in writing dynamic Apex, dynamic code. So here they have given a simple example to describe a field result F of account name. Schema.SObjectType.account.fields.name will give the description about the name field inside account object. With this, it is stored in F variable. Okay. And logging level. Logging level is useful to we use logs for tracking your Apex code, what's happening. Okay. All the error logs or warning logs, you can even check it with debug logs. There are email logs, debug logs, everything. Okay. So generally we use a lot of debug logs in our application when you are writing Apex and VF pages. So there is different type of log level. Or suppose if you feel that you have an issue and you are unable to find it. Okay. So if you are keeping the log level as errors, you are going to see only the errors on the debug log. If you are giving warnings, this is the next level. Okay. This is more advanced level where it shows more information about the logs. It shows even warnings and errors also. If you are giving info, it shows errors, warnings, and information. If you show debug, it shows all these 4 things. If you are showing fine log level, it shows detailed information with error, warnings, information, debug, and finer results of the log. Means you are getting better log with this different type of log levels. If you are moving towards right side, means the size of the logs will be increasing a lot. Okay. For log level error, there will be a small debug log. For info, there is a bigger debug log. For finer, it's more bigger debug log. Sometimes the debug log size will be exceeded also if you are using finest. If you are running a complex Apex page and if you are executing debug logs for that, if you are trying to track debug logs for that, and if you give finest for see again, debug logging level can be done with multiple ways. For workflow rules, you can do it. For Apex logic, you can do it. Okay. For validation rules, also you can do this. Everything there's a debug log level. When you are working on workflow rules, you put log level equal to finest on workflow rules. Okay. When you are working on Apex a lot, you put log level equal to finest on Apex related items. And as I said, Salesforce is enforcing a lot of limits. Okay. So you don't know how much limits are available. That's the reason there are some methods to calculate the limits and to show the available limits. Okay. So get callouts will show you the available callouts. Okay. So available callouts left for you to execute. Okay. To call out. Okay. Get DML rows. Okay. Will show you the number of rows left. Get DML statement, all this stuff. Okay. So there are methods like, so with these methods you can check the how much we have used it and how much is left. Okay. So if generally you guys know the total limit of Salesforce. Salesforce supports only 50,000. Okay. You can go 50,000 records at the same time. Okay. Then if you are using 20,000 records till now, the remaining thing you can easily get it by subtracting the total amount minus the CPU time, current CPU time. So with that, if you are trying to exceed the limits, you can block the transactions what you are doing before exceeding the limits, and you can stop it and you can re-execute or you can put some limits on the methods which you are trying to exceed the limits of Salesforce. If you are exceeding the limit, means your application will throw some error on the screen. So you have to use this methods for limiting your governor limits, okay? For limiting your number of SOAP queries, heap size, calls, DML rows inserting, DML statements, all these things. And there are limit on SOSL also and SOQL also, okay? And user info object is for getting the current user information. Get first name, get language, get last name, get locally, get name. These are all methods to query the current user's information. And yeah, that's it. Get organization name, get profile ID. These are all some. So for suppose if I'm logging in into the current VF page, if I'm using it, if I'm giving get first name, it shows my name. If I'm using some other person's user account now, it shows his name when I'm trying to use get first name. So this information will generally queried and it shows. For suppose if you want to display the name on top of your page, hi Venkat, greetings Venkat, that type of message, I can use this type of user info methods for that. Okay. So I want to explain today about the list method. So there, okay. You can start logging into this application and you can use the code whatever you want. Okay. So I want you guys to try the examples what we taught today in the class. That is action script functions and action polar examples whenever you're free. So I'm in the instance and I currently want to show you the developer console today parallelly. Yeah. So if you go to Apex classes, first of all, you'd like to use very basic Apex examples, how to insert data into that, how to create instance, how to insert data into the list variables, we'll talk about variables today. So we have some primitive types, such as strings, integers, all these things we generally use a lot. We use strings and integers, decimal thereof, and we have even date and time things also. Or let's use our Eclipse. It's easy to query or search any. Yeah, list class is what I want. So what is list? List is a collection, right? So this collection is we use a lot. Okay, in every requirement we use a list in Salesforce. Okay, so today I'm talking about list methods. I'll talk about it. Okay. Yeah. So this class is independent to your page. This is a very simple class. The class name is list class, and it's generally using with sharing means it's not required. We can even remove this. So public class, list class, this is the syntax, and we have open brackets and close brackets. This is the general class definition. Inside this, these are all methods. There is no constructor class here. Okay, we are not using it. So we generally use constructor classes in custom controllers in the type of requirement, but this is very basic Apex class. So oh my god. So the method M1 will start from here and it ends here. So suppose if I want to execute this complete thing, so remember I have used a lot of system.debug statements to show you how it works. Okay. So if I want to call this list M1, the simple way is I have to go to developer console, that is I already opened here. Okay, I'm closing all this stuff. This log I opened a long back. This is similarly like your Eclipse, so you can create workspaces. What is workspace? Workspace is a folder where all the projects will be saved in that. Okay, so you can create a number of workspaces. You can create switch workspaces also. Same way like Eclipse. This is completely on browser, completely on cloud. For suppose I want to create new Apex class or trigger, I can do it from here. I can open existing classes from here by clicking on open. So I want to open a class. I'm clicking on class and I'm trying to open the list class. That is yeah, it's here. Selected it. I double clicked on it. So I opened a list class dot apex. So it's loading content. So can you see the things? So this is what I can see even from here also, right? I have done something else, but I haven't saved it. Okay. The same thing you can see from here also. But I want to debug this by clicking on. So I showed you how to open the existing pages. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but now I want to run this code. You can use debug log for that. Sorry, you can use debug. You can open execute anonymous window. By clicking on this, I can simply call list tls is the class name dot method name m1. So it automatically showing sessions to me, right? I'm selecting this class and I'm closing this with colon to the end. Colon, okay. Now when I'm clicking on execute, what happens now? So when I'm clicking on execute, my list class dot m1 is going to be executed, and you can see the debug log here. See the log, you can see it here. So if you see my class, I clearly created a new list in the starting first statement. Later on, I am trying to add data into my list. I have added 5 records of data, means A, B, C, D, E, F. These are all string values I am entering into the list because I have configured list of strings. If it is a list of integers, this will throw out some error. Okay, but if I am trying to, means the requirement is I have to track list of strings. That's the reason I am using list of string, LST equal to new list of string. Now LST is the list of strings. Okay, now if you use LST, see in all this program I am using LST. I am adding the data to LST. I have added 5 records of means for 5 strings, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, and 1, 2, 3. Because if I am putting any numbers inside the single quotes, means it's a string only. Because 1, 2, 3 will also be a string if I am putting in single quotes. If I am removing single quotes, it's called number. Okay. So if I am removing it and if I am trying to save it, it shows an error obviously. Let's come back to this. Now 1, 2, 3 is not a string, it's a number now. Got it? I got the error right. See, incompatible element type integer for collection of string. So, and after entering 5 records, I want to print the size of the list. lst.size will give the size of the list. See what happens when I'm creating debug logs. I kept my expected result for you guys. I kept expected results inside the static thing. So this is the static system.debug string which will be displayed in system.debug. 5 is the expected thing because I have entered 5 values and this value is coming from the actual data. It automatically calculates. lst.size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It prints it. My expected result is 5 and it's 5. Means it's true. The program is working fine. And now the elements in this list are, if you put plus list, it displays all the list of values. So let's see the debug log, how it's showing here. Okay. If I'm clicking on that and if I click on open raw log, this is the raw log, means non-sorted log in text format. So let's see what happening one by one. First of all, list class is called. Later on, this method is called, right? After that, you are adding the items. See, list string dot add object, add object. You are not seeing the data, but it's adding it. Okay. You had 5 times you have added. Later on, you are calling list dot size. Dot size is calculating here, and here is the system.debug. So system.debug will be shown in this format. There is a debug. So user debug, this is the line you can see. Wherever you have kept system.debug, it shows like this. But after this is the static string in single quotes inside system.debug. After that, you are printing the dynamic data by putting plus lst.size is the simple method to calculate the size of the list and printing on the system.debug. So coming to my screen, I'm clicking on save again to remove this error because it's I already modified back. I printed back the data. So all these strings with greater than symbols and data inside it, and these are all strings to identify whether that's a debug statement or not. I only gave it. You no need to give that. So I can directly give like this to print the size also. I can remove the complete data in single quotes and plus sign. Why I am using plus n is this is a string, static string, and I am appending that string with the data coming from the method lst.size. This method is given by Salesforce.size method. LST is the list which we created. Okay. Same way, if you want to get the elements in this list are, this is a static string plus LST. So with this, I am checking what's happening with my data. So let's go back to my demo plug again and see elements in this list are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, and 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. This is what I have given. Okay. So, and again, first element in this list is, obviously I know what is the first element in my list, ABC, right? The method is LST of 0. Okay. So generally list items will be stored in terms of array format. So you can also call like this LST of 0, LST of 1, LST of 2. LST of 0 will give you the first element, LST of 3 will give you the fourth element, LST of 6 will give you the seventh element, because that's the index. It starts from 0 to n-1 if there are n items in the list. And if I want to find out the last element, see, there is a simple method for that. Last item in this list is 1, 2, 3. I know this value, but this is the value which I am trying to print from the method. List of list.size minus 1. What is list.size? That is 4, right? List.size minus 1 equal to 4, obviously. What is list of 4? I am trying to print the fifth element. Dynamically, I am trying to print the last element in this record. I can directly give list of 4 also. See, I can do one thing, plus static. So I can put the static statements like any inside single quote. This is string. I'm appending to the methods. Now I want to put LST of, LST of 4. It prints the same value. Clicking on save, and I'm trying to execute the debug log again. Anonymous block. This is called open execute anonymous block. So open debug. Click on the first button. There is a small shortcut for that. Control E in Windows and Command E in Mac. So if I'm trying to execute again, now I will get one more debug log. I can open that again. Open raw log. I can even download this log also, and I can open in my Sublime text or any text editor. So now it opens now. This is at 11:28, I think. Oh, sorry, I tried to open the same thing. The latest log is this. See, 11/19/40, 10/19/40. I want to open this raw log because I am already opening the existing log. This is the actual log which I have to open. Remember, this is the data till here which is available. Okay? And this is the data which I have entered now. Static is the static string, and the same value I am printing. List.size minus 1 will print the same data. That is list.4. Because this is list of 0, list of 1, list of 2, list of 3, list of 4. That's what I'm printing here. And this is the first element. This is all elements. And if you come down, now I'm trying to add 4 more items. If you come back to my code, after this statement, I'm entering 4 more items. I'm entering list.add $1, 2, 3 JKL. I'm repeating it again, and ABC and 4, 5, 6. Even though I'm repeating JKL, it saves it as 7th item. if you are trying to do the same thing in list in sets, that is another type of collection. In this case, it will not save this because that's a duplicate value that will be removed. But this is the list. It will save even duplicates also. I have entered 4 items now. Now, what is the size of my list? I'm expecting 9. 5 plus 9 equal to 9, right? Let's see what's the data on my debug log. See, this is the data which is printing dynamically from my code. List lst.size is printing this. Remember, these are all the methods of list. List.add is a method to add item to the list. List.size is the method to print the size of the list. List of 0, list of 1 is a method, is like simple thing to print the data in. You can query data based on indexes, and if you want to print the list of 9 elements, now I'm trying to print elements of after duplicates, means there are duplicates, and the reason I have given this is 9. See, A, B, C till here, this is the old list, this is the new list, means these are new items in the list. And later on, I want to remove one data, that is 6. List.remove 6 means I'm removing the 6th item. Means what is 6th item? JKL is the 6th item. I'm trying to remove it. See what happens now. There are 8 items in the list now. Out of 9, 1 is removed. The remove thing is happened here. One second. Oh, remove happened here, and later on I have entered a method called sort. After removing, I have printed the values. I can even print the values by clicking by. I'm expecting 8 values. List plus inside it I can put the size of the list is lst.size. Okay, I am trying to print it now. I want to run it again because this is the old debug log. After saying you will run it. Okay, this is saved properly. I am clicking on execute. I get one more debug log on the top. Select this. Click on open raw log. This is the raw log. And now let's go to the, this is what I gave. ABC, this is the new list. There is no JKL second time. After $123, there is JKL. It's not there because I have removed the 6th item. Means 7th item, because index is 6 means it's 7th item. And the size is 8. Right. Later on, I clicked on sort. Sort is a method. lst.sort will automatically sort the values inside this. Now this is a sorted list. $123 will come first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, after that ABC. And big letters are first and later on small letters. This is the order of alphabetical order. Okay. And later on, I'm trying to create a new list from the existing list. After sorting, I'm printing here. This is the after sorting print, which I am showing you on the debug log. After that, I'm getting a new list. LST list string equal to new LST equal to new list string. This is the initialization of string. You are not defining the string yet. and here you are trying to add it. New list dot add all. Add all is one more method to copy, to clone the LST to new list. Existing list you can clone to the new list with add all method. You can not clone. You can add to this list. If there are 10 values already available in this list, you can add the 8 values coming from LST to this. Now 10 plus 8 equal to 8 values will be available in new list. Okay. There is one more method called clone also. Instead of creating from blank, so new list dot LST string new list equal to list dot clone also will give the same thing as this is the new list. Clone means I can create a new list from the existing list. That's the method. So till now we have seen many methods: add, size, remove, sort, add all, again clone, and size also I know it. Okay. Now after cloning it, means this is also we have done add all thing, which is almost clone. Okay. After that I am trying to check the size. Size of my elements in the new list is this. For suppose let's do one thing. Let's try creating before the add all. I want to give new LST dot sorry and after saving I want to run it again. Oh, or else I will do it again because I think it's not saved right now. And so there is status here, and these two are unread logs. Other logs are read. Open the log. Now come here. Size 8. After sorting, this is the thing. See, the new list size is 10 now because remember that there are 2 items already available in this list, new list, and I have added 8 more items from the list. Now 2 plus 8 equal to 10. That's what it's displaying here. Accepted value is 10. So what is clone will do? Clone will do the exact cloning of this. Now you are going to replace the old items. Let's do one thing. After that, I want to do one more thing. New list is already defined here. That's the reason I'm not defining it again. New list equal to list.clone, and I'm trying to print it again. I'm trying to execute anonymous block again. After sorting, so this is 10. After that, again after that it's 8. What's happening with clone? Clone, what it will do is, if there is items in this new list, it will clear complete data, and it's gonna add data from LST to this again. What happened here? Did you guys got it? Here, add all method will add to the existing list. Clone method will first of all clear the new list first. Later on, it will clone LST to new LST. It will copy the data which is available in LST till here to this new LST. Okay. Now I am clearing LST.clear. LST.clear means this is one more method to clear the data completely. Okay. So now testing.debug size of old list equal to 0. I know that because it's cleared. That is 0. I can show the debug log to you. And testing.debug lst.empty equal to true. Obviously, lst.isEmpty is one more method to check whether the list is empty or not. And there is, I'm trying to check one more method. New list is empty or not. It's false, right? Because there are some values inside new list. I have not cleared it, right? There are 8 values here in the new list. Are you getting the point here? There are 8 values. Obviously, it's 4. New is empty is a method which will return true or false. If that is empty, it will return true. If it is not empty, it will return false. Why list is empty? Because you cleared here. Why new list is empty? No, the new list is not empty. That is returning false. Let's go here. The size of bold list is 0. This is the expected value, and this is the value because I cleared the LST here. And later on, I'm just checking what is the, so whether LST is empty or not. True. Expected value is true, and the value coming from database is true. From a code is true. Whether new LST is empty or not. My expected value is false. The value coming from database is false. That's done. So when you calm down, each and every debug log will show you the number of SOQL queries, query rows, SOSL queries, DML statements. So these are the limits, actual limits. See, 0 out of 100, because you can run 100 SOQL queries. You can run 50,000 query rows. You can run 20 SOSL queries. You can run 150 DML statements. Out of it, you are using 0, 0, 0, 0. So these are the limits of Apex now. You got the limits, right? You copy down this in a notepad. So 100, 50,000, 20, 150, these are all the limits of this particular SOQL queries or SOSL queries, all this stuff. You keep this because most people will ask in interviews also. This is really useful. Okay. Why I am seeing two times? I am seeing 2 times because this is a name prefix book9. So these limits are different for the app exchange packages. So the limits what you are seeing here is for the application what you are using internally, what you have built. For suppose if you are installing third-party applications, if that is using lot of SOQL queries or SOSL queries, it won't be counted in your current execution. So this book9 is a managed package. What you guys are building, what means I try to build. That's what the limits are 0 anyway here. But I don't see any of the items because we are not dealing with any of these items till now. Right? That's it, guys. I want to close the class for today. So just copy down this list. I can put in the chat. So I have uploaded the video, so I think it's not good here. You can take a snapshot, if you can take a screenshot if possible from your system. Instead of checking the limits cheat sheet, it's really simple. These are the things required for the developer to check when he is developing the requirements. And most people ask these limits only. Okay. That's it, guys. I'll close the class now, and we'll meet in tomorrow's class. So I don't know whether. So are you guys taking any holiday tomorrow? Tomorrow let's do one thing. Let's only conduct the evening class, morning class, or else it's your wish. Just update me whether to conduct the class tomorrow or not. I'm not sure whether I will be available tomorrow. If I'm not available, I will be sending out a message to you on WhatsApp chat. Okay. Murli, can you create one more WhatsApp group with Sandhya, you and me? Okay, and so that it will be useful for notifications. Thanks. Thanks, guys. If you guys have any questions, you can ask now, please. And if you have any questions to who are asking questions, please log in into the canvas and try creating the questions inside the tool as well. Okay. Sure. Thanks, guys. I hope you won't have any questions.